Good morning. This is the Great Basin Prescribed Fire Briefing for Friday, January 19th. Looking at a prescribed fire activity, you can see quite a few projects here located with the purple circles from parts of Idaho through Nevada and especially down into some of the forests down in southern Utah. Looking at precipitation, this is actually the past 14 days. You can see quite a bit across central and northern areas, some heavy amounts in the yellow, 1.5 to 3 inches of melted precipitation. You can see that's above normal here on the right-hand side. You also see that there's been a deficit down in the southern third of Nevada, down into the Arizona Strip and parts of southern Utah. That is going to change. I see our 100-hour fuel moisture here. Everything is pretty much above 15%, except 10 to 15% in some of those driest areas from the Arizona Strip up into southwest Utah. Satellite imagery shows a powerful storm system, another one in this prolonged 2-week storm cycle, and this one is further south than some of the other ones. You can see how far south some of this enhanced moisture is pushing through. So this will affect some southern areas later on. This is the afternoon map today. High pressure building in, but clouds and moisture spilling over the top of it into Idaho. And because there's this ridge of high pressure present here, snow levels will be climbing above 6,000 feet in a lot of areas. On the dispersion or ventilation index, you can see still quite low values here in the purple in the north. Improving in western and southern areas closer to this low pressure area, closer to these stronger upper level winds. You can see the winds on the surface picking up through here. You can see the humidity quite high in all areas except somewhat below 40% in parts of western and southern Nevada. Light winds elsewhere. Transport winds, which is the average of the entire mixing height. So the mixing heights tell you how many thousands of feet your smoke will rise before it starts to pancake out in different directions. Long inversions here across the eastern Great Basin, but you can see the mixing heights picking up through here and the transport winds also improving. Now on Saturday, the storm system brings lots of clouds through here. Not a very wet storm. I'd call it light to locally moderate, but still there'll be some snow and elevations above 6,000 feet, rain below. Not as cold as some of our other storms. But you can see the really good ventilation dispersion from moving in, expanding from west to east. The high humidity on the right-hand side, the stronger transport winds starting to edge towards the Utah border and up into parts of Idaho. The transport winds themselves even stronger. Mixing heights rising several thousand feet above ground level. Also, the mixing heights starting to improve in parts of Utah as well as parts of Idaho and western Wyoming. Sunday, still lots of clouds. Here's the remnants of the storm system, this trough through here with light to locally moderate precipitation. The next trough of low pressure and moisture is poised to move onshore across California. We have very little of that purple area, but still lingering in parts of northern and eastern areas, but overall a gradual improvement in dispersion. But again, the humidity stays high in all areas, even down south, so it could be that pile burning could be the only real potential in this kind of a pattern. Surface winds on the left-hand side. Transport winds, you notice not just the speeds, but the vectors are coming out of the due south-southwest. That'll be your main transport direction through here, and that continues up into the mountains of Idaho as well. 3-day precipitation totals. Now, most of the precipitation, or at least a lot of it, is going to be affecting our southern areas. Lighter amounts to the north, except for the Idaho mountains and parts of western Wyoming. And the map looks almost like it doesn't change. That next storm system moves in. It kind of weakens a little bit. There'll be lots of clouds, some light precipitation, maybe locally moderate on the Sierra Crest. Just cloudy, maybe spotty drizzle or flurries further east. And again, that moisture kind of just sits there, so it's not a real big organized storm system, but just lots of clouds, cool temperatures through here on Tuesday and Wednesday. Still another front coming through here affecting some areas. And Thursday, that system moves to the east and another system moves up and over this high pressure ridge. So it'll be some more, this will probably be the day with the most sunshine before the next batch of clouds moves in. But because we're closer to this high pressure ridge, temperatures will be warming somewhat. This is precipitation Monday morning through Wednesday morning. Again, the south, the drier areas of southern Nevada, getting the bulk of it here, ½ inch to locally an inch, and maybe some snow in the highest peaks there. Starts to dry out and precipitation starts to shift further back northwards, day 6, day 7, but this is the entire 7-day total. Heavy amounts across our southern areas. They need it. That's where there's been a deficit the past several weeks. But good coverage just about elsewhere. Starts to taper off in western Wyoming. Gets stuck on the Tetons, but some of the forest further to the east gets only light amounts and not much else further north. That's typical of El Nino. The 8 to 14-day outlook, again, above normal temperatures. We don't see any real cold Arctic air moving in the near future. We do see a drying trend, at least for this period of January 26th to February 1st. A bit more storminess up in the Pacific Northwest, which could move back in, but we could see a drying pattern again down south. We'll see how that plays out. Again, in this El Nino pattern where we have warming water across the entire equatorial Pacific, this kind of changes the storm track, and we'll see this over the next 7 days where the wettest systems will be further to the south. In terms of temperatures, warmer than normal all the way up through much of Canada and Alaska. So there's not much Arctic air to push on in unless you're really far to the east. And that's basically it through here. So that concludes our briefing. Next one will be coming in on Monday. Have a great day.